Hi, everyone. Kevin and Darla here. And tonight we want to talk to you about gratitude and grace. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, has anybody ever told you when you were having a day that wasn't maybe as good as you wanted? Maybe you even called it a bad day. Has anybody ever told you, oh, look on the bright side? That was probably the last thing you wanted to hear at that moment. But let us talk to you about gratitude and grace and see if that maybe gives you some real tools that you can actually use the next time you feel like you're having a bad day or having a bad moment. Okay? Darla is going to tell you about gratitude.
Hi, everybody. So, Kevin and I usually tell each other about our days. And so when we come home, I just came home from work and, hi, honey, how's your day? Do you guys do that? Yeah. So I said, well, it was good. It was busy. I do my best to not say it was a bad day because that labels the whole day as bad, and that's a dangerous place to be, and nobody wants to be there. So sometimes you have bad things happen in your day, and like you have a flat tire. We had a flat tire one day, but that didn't make my whole day bad. I just had something bad happen. We fixed it. We go on with our day. Today, I got to work, and my friend at work was like, Darla, I have this bug bite. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a bug bite too. Like, look right here. I have this bug bite since Sunday. And I just showed it to Kevin tonight, telling him the story. And she's like, that's weird. I have a bug bite too. And her bug bite has this bruise around it. And it's so like, whoa, that's weird. That looks way worse than my bruise, my bug bite. But so we're both talking about our bug bites, right? And I am in the medical field and I see patients, and I have to tell you guys, there are a whole lot worse things going on than these little bug bites that we have. And so um, it's all about perspective. And when somebody maybe is grouchy and you think, oh, that person is grouchy, maybe they're not really grouchy. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to get through a hard day and some hard things in their life. And in women's health, most women's health issues, the reason I like it is because mostly we're happy, healthy women. Yes, there's hormones, we're women. There's some things going on that need to be dealt with. But most of the time, it's happy, healthy, well women that we're dealing with. Um, but when women's health gets hard, it's hard. And it's really hard. And it's hard on your heart, and it's hard all the way around. And there's a lot of women who've gone through a lot of struggles that I haven't had to go through. And so I'm just so grateful at the end of my day that one, I can be there to be a support for a patient or another woman in need. I hope I'm helpful. I hope that their experience is good. It's just, when hard things happen, it's nice to have some support around you. So when you think about it and you look about perspective, and you go back to my bug bite for today, like that's nothing. Kevin said, I didn't even know you had a bug bite. And I'm like, yeah, because I never said anything about it. So, right, you just keep going on and going on. But when something's heavy, you need to talk to your spouse about it, or you need to talk about what's on your heart. And that's really important. But I also want to caution you that negativity, on the next subject, negativity breeds negativity. Have you heard that before? So when you start looking at the negative things, oh, I dropped this, I dropped that, I ran into the cupboard and I hurt my hip, I dropped a glass and broke it. Then what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And then all these negative things just start happening, and then your mindset gets negative, and then you start complaining about your bug bite and your sore knee and your bruise and whatever else is coming around that's not ideal. It seems like the negative is just more negative and more negative. And it in ULA, we've learned to figure out to surround ourselves with more positive. It doesn't mean that thing didn't happen. but it lets me be grateful. It lets me learn that overall I'm physically healthy, and I'm very grateful for that. And I understand that someone else might be going through much harder things than I will ever have to face. And so when you're talking to other people and learning about your neighbors or meeting people in the public, and maybe they're having a hard day, maybe they're going through some hard stuff, or maybe they just haven't learned how to look on the bright side, if you will. I hate that saying too, but we have to figure out what can you be grateful for.
Right. So, what are some practices that you do to help you be grateful?
I tell you that I'm grateful for you being my husband and having this life that we have,
Right.
and having a beautiful home and food in our tummies and Wi-Fi. Thank you for the Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
So someone I saw, we call it first world problems, complaining about a pedicure, manicure going bad, like not being like the they didn't paint the heart right on her fingernail or something, and blasting it that this salon you should never go to. My goodness, my goodness. Like, I'm thinking, wow, you had, there's just so many things that I think, wow. Yes, when you pay for a service, you should get what you paid for, and I understand that. But to blast it all over that maybe you're having a hard time with something is so sad to me. And it's like, well, you can be grateful that you were able to go get a mani pedi, because there's a lot of women who have never ever gotten to do that. You be grateful that you have fingernails. Some people don't. You get to be grateful that you have a life that, right? You just like, what do you have grateful for? I'm grateful that I hear birds singing in my backyard at this time of day and in the morning. I just see the light and the love and the beauty in the world. And with ULA, many of us have figured out to share that with other people and be in this positive atmosphere and be in a positive relationship. And if there's toxic things in your world, then figure out how to detox. And if you need help with detoxing, we can do that in many ways. So, did I answer your question about being grateful?
Right. So you're trying to think of things that are good in your life, and maybe you write those down. I know I do. I actually journal
it
every day, and I'm answering questions that I pose to myself about, oh, I am grateful for this, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for my wife, who I made a post yesterday about that, actually.
Surprise.
So how wonderful she is to me, and how wonderful it is that I get to live with her and be her partner in life. It's just amazing. So there are things, though, that have been bad in our lives. We've both been through divorce, for instance, and we've been through bad divorces, and it was terrible going through that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had times when everything wasn't going great, and we had to figure out how to keep going through that. And so, as you're out in the world and you're trying to be grateful for the things that you have, and maybe you run into people that are definitely acting like they're having a bad day, and they are rude to you, perhaps. Try to have a little perspective on what are they really going through. What is happening to them? I heard a story one time of a man. It was from a book, and he was actually riding in a subway car, and he was riding with another man who had his 4 children, probably ages 2 to 7, with him. And the children were running, they were playing, they were loud, they were obnoxious on the subway car. They were being kids.
Yeah.
And the author of the story said that he was kind of disgruntled that they were being so loud. He was trying to read his magazine on the subway car, and he was a little, furious inside with these kids that were acting up.
Mm.
And he talked to the other man. He turned to him and he said, "Hey, do you think you could keep control of your kids?" Because the man was just kind of looking at the floor. And the man turned to him and he said, "Oh, I am so sorry. They just lost their mother and my wife today.
Today. Wow.
And we're just coming home from the hospital. So I'm so sorry. I'll take care." And the man gathered up the children and he had them sit down. And the author of the story just felt like this big because he made such a big deal about little kids running around acting naturally when he had no idea what just happened to them and how much of a loss and that was going to affect their entire lives.
Yeah.
So try to gain a little perspective and give some grace to other people when maybe they don't act the way that you want them to towards you. And be grateful yourself for the things you do have. Everything won't be perfect, but you've come this far and you can get through this too, whatever it is that happens. And being grateful every day is a big step forward in actually accomplishing that. And when you come across people that seem to be having a bad day and they may be rude to you, remember to have perspective and give them grace. And try and understand, wow, I wonder what happened to them that they're having such a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you can even ask them, is there any way that I can serve you today to make things better for you? So these are just a couple things that we found very helpful as we try to live differently in this life. And we wanted to pass those on to you. So Darla, why don't you sign us off?
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Paige. Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Deborah. Hi, you guys. Be grateful. Have faith. Come get your ULA life with us. It's good. It's positive. You'll love it. Till next time.
Be grateful, have faith, and come get your ULA life. Did she already say that?
I did. Man, they don't listen sometimes. Usually he listens impeccably. But yeah.
Now you get to hear it twice.
We love you guys. Thanks.
I'll ask for some grace.
I love you.